Well, howdy out there. For those of you who never heard of Star Trek's Philbin, Philbin is a game of cards. And it was in one of the episodes of the original Star Trek where Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock were captured by aliens and they're sitting in an alien guard room at a table, and the two guards are standing up over there and Kirk says, Spock, did you bring the cards? And Spock hands him the deck of cards. He said, hey, how about if we all play some Philbin? So he says, you guys sit down and we'll play a friendly game of cards called Philbin. And so the guards say, well, how do you play Philbin? He says, well, the three of clubs will be wild if one of those two moons is a half moon and the other one is a quarter moon. And the six of diamonds will be wild if it's a Tuesday on the third month of August. In other words, he's got all these crazy rules that nobody could ever remember. And it's just his way of distracting the guards so they can slug them and escape. But that's what Philbin is. Now, Social Security plays Philbin with people. For example, they say, oh yeah, you can retire at 62. But if you continue working, you can't make more than $14,000. And if you do, we take back half of what you make over $14,000. Pardon me? It's going to take money from my Social Security check that I earned over 50 years of work because I'm making more than $14,000 extra? Well, therefore, if you make $600 or $6,000 rather a year from Social Security, let's say, and then you make $14,000 by continuing to work, that's $20,000. And they're saying if you make more than that, they're going to take half of every dollar that you make. So that must mean that the poverty level is really $20,000 a year, right? But there are some people on TV who say, well, the poverty level is $1,100 a month. Now let's pull up my calculator and see what that comes out to by the year. $13,200, right? Where was I? Let's see. Duh. Okay, so $13,200 by the year. That's $1,100 a month times 12 months. So is the poverty level $13,200 a year? Or is it $14,000 a year? Or is it $20,000 a year? What is it really? Because the Social Security says you can make up to $20,000 a year, but after that, anything you make over that, they take half of that away. So the real poverty level must be around $20,000 a year. Philbin, Philbin, Philbin. So if you divide $20,000 by 12, let's bring up the calculator. 20,000 divided by 12 equals $1,666. Okay, so therefore, the average monthly Social Security retirement check should be $1,666. But some people only get, $500. They say, well, if you didn't work all those years, Philbin, and you didn't pay in at least 10 years of Social Security, you're just going to get whatever we decide, is good for you. Philbin, Philbin. But then they say, well, when you turn 65 and you can't work, we'll give you SSI. And we'll bring you up to the poverty level. But the poverty level looks to be $890 at those rates. Philbin, $890 a month, you're going to live on that, right? And then what they don't tell you is if you move to another state, Philbin, they're going to take half of that $331 or whatever it is away from you. Philbin, because you're living in another state. Philbin. Then I know of a lady who was making like $24,000 a year and decided to sign up early at 62 to get her Social Security. But she signs up at 62, which is like near the end of the year, and nothing happens, until the next year. And at the end of the next year, they say, well, you made $24,000 over your allowed amount. You're only allowed to make $14,000. So you made $10,000 more than you're supposed to. So we're going to take $5,000 of that away from your next check. You're not going to get any check for 10 months. Philbin. She worked. She paid in all those years into her Social Security, and now they're going to take it away because she happened to be working and making some extra money. Philbin. So, the people of the American People's Liberty Party, and probably all retired Americans, believe that there should be one set rate for retirement, regardless of how much money you made over your life. All Americans are Americans, and they need to be taken care of when they hit 65, right? So we're thinking the minimum Social Security check, the minimum monthly Social Security check should be $1,200. And $1,200 a month, bring up the calculator, $14,400. So we're saying the minimum Social Security check for somebody to retire should be $14,400, and the COLAs should be like 5% every year. To be fair with all Americans, because you're not being fair with all Americans. If some people only get $500, and some people can get $800, some people get $1,000, other people get $1,200. What the hell is that? Philbin, And according to Bernie Sanders, if they take the cap off of Social Security will be good for the next 75 years or maybe forever. All they have to do is take the cap off, and that means making people who make more money than $120,000 a year or whatever continue to pay into FICA. FICA is Social Security. But some people, when they hit, when they make so much money, $120,000 or more, they only pay the FICA on the first $120,000. Why? When they take money away from seniors who are working to supplement their income because $600 a month ain't enough, and then they want to take away half of what they made, well, then they have to put a tax onto these rich people, make them pay FICA all the way up to, no matter how much they make, $1 billion, $1 million, whatever they make a year, they have to continue to pay FICA, and at a percentage of what they make, So it seems like Social Security in the United States government plays fill-in with the people. They say, oh, well, we can take money away from the people because they made over, $20,000 a year, but we're not going to charge these people that make $120,000 a year more FICA. It's all Philbin. It needs to be straightened out. The minimum monthly check should be $1,200 a month, starting at age 62. It should include all parts of Medicare for free. In other words, there should be no Part A, no Part B, no Part C, no Part D. It should be just Medicare, and that includes dental. That includes your hospital, your pills, and everything you need, and your doctors, and blah, 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 and your dental, too. And whatever equipment you need. You need a cane, or you need a walker, or you need a wheelchair, whatever, You're going to take care of Americans, take care of them right, not half-ass right. Stop playing Philbin with the American people.